Hey everyone, and welcome to Real Estate with Rima. My name is Karima, and I just recently passed my New York State real estate exam on the first try. So I'm going to tell you guys how I did it, resources I used, any tips that I have for you guys so that you can also pass your New York State real estate exam with confidence. So thank you guys for watching and stay tuned. So first things first, in order to take your New York State real estate exam, you have to take a pre-licensing course, which is 77 hours that the Department of State requires you to take. I finished this course within a month. So I started August 1st and I finished my course August 26th. The Department of State mandates that everyone takes a pre-licensing course to make sure that every new agent understand the basics of real estate, laws, ethics, and practice before being able to even help clients. So yeah, for my pre-licensing course, I actually ended up taking Real Estate U. It was recommended to me by a friend, as well as a Groupon was provided for the pre-licensing course at the time when I took it. So it wasn't, I didn't pay that much for my course, which was great. It was like around, I think, $70 something. So I thought that was a decent price for the course. So in order to take your New York State exam, obviously you got to pass your pre-licensing exam, which I did as well. And then you're going to have to create a account with eaccessnewyork.com. I will also link these websites down below so that you guys can also check those websites out, from Real Estate U, from the eAccess online account as well. This is where you can apply to take the exam, pick the location of the exam, the time of the exam, and the date of the exam. For the application fee to sit in for the exam, I paid $15, which is not bad here. I took my exam in the city. I took my New York State real estate exam September 23rd. I had scheduled my New York State exam 2 weeks after I passed and completed my Real Estate U exam as well. So I gave myself some time in between to have the time to study, to also take a breather, because I just finished my pre-licensing exam. So it's like, okay, now I need to regroup, get myself together, and prepare for the big exam, which is the real estate exam. So New York State real estate exam. I was going to take it a week after the pre-licensing exam, but I needed a little bit more time. You know, I didn't want to jam pack everything and cram so much, even though the information will be fresh. So it really depends on how you are and how you learn as well. If you guys schedule it close together or a little bit apart, it's completely up to you. I ended up doing it 2 weeks apart because it did give me that time to kind of just relax, regroup, and then go back to studying. So now let's talk about how I actually prepared for my exam. One of the ways that I prepared for the New York State real estate exam was I reviewed all the course material from the study guide that was also provided from the course. I also took a lot of practice tests and quizzes that were also provided in the Real Estate U course that I took. And I must say that Real Estate U did a great job in terms of their formatting, for the quiz and the test, because it was very similar to how it was on the New York State real estate exam. That I just wanted to make a point of, because there's a lot of different courses out there and schools to learn all this material, but I think Real Estate U did a great job for New York State. Again, I don't know how it is in other states. For New York State, I'll say Real Estate U is pretty reliable in terms of that. The only thing about how it was formatted online versus in person when I took my exam was that everything that the Real Estate U course had was online. So from the tests, from the quizzes, and from the final exam that I took with Real Estate U, that was all online. So compared to the New York State exam, it was through Scantron. So this is something I did not know would be the case. I thought it would also be online as well. but it turned out to be Scantron, and it was on paper, so you had to bubble in the actual answer, which I haven't done in such a long time. So that was really interesting to do again, because look, I did not expect to do Scantron. That's such an old system, right? Let's see, I have my notes here, by the way, so if you see me looking down, it's because I want to remember everything that I'm telling you guys. Another thing I like to mention about formatting is that the New York State Real Estate Exam does not divide their sections. So the national portion and the state portion are all combined together in the 75 questions that you guys have. It's not divided like some other states where they have a national portion of the exam and then the state portion of the exam. They're all kind of jam-packed into all the 75 questions, and they're all at random. So that's something that I also wanted to mention, because when I was trying to find videos on how the New York State exam is, there was really nothing to go based on. I hope that can help you guys. Another way that I prepared for the exam was I really had to know the vocabulary, the concepts, and the laws of real estate. In terms of also the math portion of the exam, there really wasn't many math questions on this exam. Surprisingly enough, I thought it would be more, but it was like maybe 2 questions that I had on my exam that were math questions. Again, maybe I just had a really good set of questions, but it may change in the future. I don't know. Still be prepared to understand the math of real estate, basically. But if you do struggle with math in general, or having trouble understanding the real estate math, one resource that I used that was really helpful was YouTube. Just Call Maggie. She is amazing at explaining all things real estate math. I do suggest that you guys watch Just Call Maggie on YouTube, because she does a great job at breaking down even the concepts of real estate and the real estate math. She really does make it easier for you to understand. She goes through some questions and answers as well, so that you guys can have some time to practice them. But overall, I think that the real estate exam, that the New York State real estate exam was much easier than I thought it would be. But you have to pay attention to the course materials that you had previously learned. In the beginning, when I was taking my pre-licensing course, I was taking notes, like every little note, which I learned was not a great system for me. So I ended up just stopped taking notes overall, and I only took notes on things that I truly did not understand, so that I can go back and review those concepts that I didn't understand, and try to find a different source to help me understand. So that's what I did in terms of that, because I found that I was retaining more information when I just stopped taking notes overall, and I just completely paid attention to the informational videos that's on the course. Everyone's system is different, and I found that that worked for me. Another thing that helped me prepare and for the real estate exam was that I used Quizlet flashcards to help me remember the vocabulary words. A lot of people found that this worked for them as well, and this also worked for me. So I did some review on the vocab with Quizlet, which was great. They have all of the definitions on there. They also have some questions and answers on there, so you can use that for your practice. I think you can also print them out as well, so that can be another resource for you to help you prepare for your New York State real estate exam. I used YouTube a lot for my resource, and that's because there's so many informational videos these days on every possible topic in the world. So a person that I was watching a lot was his name is D Kumar Real Estate, and he has a lot of in-depth videos on real estate concepts, laws. He does questions and answers, and he also does live streams where, he goes over the difficult questions that people or the trickier questions rather, that people get stuck on the exam, which is really helpful, especially in different states where maybe different formats. So he He's pretty great at explaining the concepts really, really well. So I do suggest that you check out his channel. I will leave his link down below. As well as I mentioned before, Just Call Maggie. She is also great at explaining the concepts of real estate. She's awesome and really nice. And I would say she does really well for understanding the math as well. So definitely check her out. Awesome people and understanding all things real estate. So yeah, another thing that helped me was that I reviewed in the morning of my tests. So that goes for even the pre-licensing test. I also was reviewing early in the morning since I put my test time for in the afternoon. That's another thing that I thought was really helpful, is that I gave myself some time in the morning to kind of, eat some breakfast, some coffee, do some review, do some practice tests just before I get into the testing room. So that was really helpful as well. So I guess that I'll go into telling you guys how the day of the exam went. Overall environment, how I was feeling. I was extremely nervous for taking the New York State real estate exam because I knew that I just didn't want to take it again. Okay, I've heard a lot of stories of just people not passing on the first try, and I really didn't want to do that. Like, I'm in a time crunch. I don't really want to have to take this test again. So I knew that in the back of my mind and knew what I had to do to have to pass. When I got to the testing site, I took the test in the city. So I took it in Manhattan. Once I first got there, we had pretty small desks. It was like maybe half the class full of people also taking the real estate exam. It was a Scantron test, so that you guys are aware. Because it is a Scantron test, they did say that it would take 3 weeks for us to know our score, which is a pass or fail, by the way. Once I heard that it was 3 weeks, which I, again, didn't know because it's not really fully disclosed out there. So this is why I'm making this video, to help you guys prepare for this, because I really didn't know that it would be 3 weeks. In that moment, in that instant moment, I told myself, I'm not taking this exam again. I have to really lock in right now and pass this exam, because I'm not trying to take this again and wait another 3 weeks for my score. I'm not doing that. That's like 6 weeks. I'm not doing that. Again, I took my test September 23rd. I got my results 6 days after. So it actually took faster than I thought. I guess maybe because the amount of people that were in the room also play a role. If it's a full class, I'm pretty sure it would have took longer. It took about a week to find out my actual results. So it was actually sooner than we thought it would be. There were 75 multiple choice on this test, and you need to score at least 70% to pass. Overall, it was a very supportive environment when I was there. Proctors were saying good luck, and one of the proctors was like, girl power. But as soon as I started I was really nervous in the beginning of taking this exam. So because of that, my first few questions, I know that I need to go back afterwards and review them because of how nervous I was. So I went back towards the end and went ahead and reviewed the first few questions again. If you guys are like me, where you guys get nervous in the beginning of the test, I suggest that you review back over the first few questions, because sometimes you're just not realizing that you put an incorrect answer because you're not there yet. You're not really focused in because your nerves are taking over. So I just suggest that you guys do that as well. I also skipped over questions that I wasn't really fully 100% on, went back and reviewed them and made sure that I got the right answer. I reviewed my test probably around 2 to 3 times because I did have some time towards the end. So I didn't want to rush leaving out of there and, not feeling confident that I really did review and got the right answers, or at least majority, right. I found myself going on the internet, trying to try out different tests and quizzes to try to make sure that if cases worded differently, I would be prepared for it being worded differently. So that's something that I did as well. But turns out that The Real Estate U course and the tests that they had provided and the quizzes were very similarly worded to the New York State real estate exam. And again, if you know your vocab, concepts, and laws, it should be very easy to understand those definitions and what the other answers would mean. Because once you know the definitions really well, the other answers on the multiple choice, you kind of can do a process of elimination because you know what the other answers mean. That's just a little tip for you guys as well. Yeah, I thought the questions would be a bit more trickier, but it really wasn't. It was pretty straightforward and to the point. Let's talk about what to bring for your exam. You want to bring a calculator that doesn't have letters on it because, I don't know, you could probably cheat somehow, some way on one of those calculators. I got mine from Five Below, just a regular standard calculator. This is the calculator that I got from Five Below. It's solar powered, but also has a battery as well. So there you go. And then you want to bring your summary of submissions page to sit in for the exam. Yeah, that was pretty much how I passed my New York State real estate exam on the first try, which is awesome. I know some people do not pass on the first try, and that's okay. It's a learning experience for everybody. It's a learning curve for everybody who wants to go into real estate or any other career that really requires a license. I hope that this video helped some of you guys, encouraged some of you guys, and also made you guys aware of what to expect for the New York State real estate exam, how to prepare for it. This was just my experience, and I just wanted to share that with you guys in case you can relate to it. So immediately after I passed, I started looking at brokerages, and that will be your next step after you pass. For me, it's a place that has great training. I wish you all the best. Many prayers to you guys if you're taking your real estate exam soon. You guys got this. I was so nervous in the beginning of taking my exam, but once you see the questions and once you're really there, it kind of goes away a little bit because you start to get more confident in your answers. You're like, okay, I know that one. I know this question. Okay, I know that one. And then eventually you just start to build that confidence throughout taking the test. So you are going to be a little nervous in the beginning. It just means that you care a lot and that you want to pass. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video helped some of you, especially if you're taking your real estate exam soon. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I will also have all the links that all the videos that I mentioned in this video linked down below, as well as the websites that I use. Everything will be linked down below for you guys. That is it for today. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.